let's talk about the most important position, most important positional group of any NFL team. It's your building block. It's your front line. It's your wall of defense. It's your offensive line. This is, as we have said many times in the channel and talked about, probably more than any other positional group on this channel, is something you have to get right and you have to fix and you have to perfect. We are still looking to fix all those things and perfect all those things. Will we be able to do it? Well, only time will tell. But here's the positive, okay? There are positives here. There are a couple good options available. So we could, again, go the player route and go with a former player. That might not work out. Based on looking into it, we don't really have too much history with Anthony Munoz when it comes to him coaching and being an offensive line coach or working with players as much. Willie Anderson, yes, he's younger, but I'm not sure if that's going to work out. So we have some options that are currently we could bring to the team. Now, starting off right away, the last time we were a top 10 unit on offensive line, last time we ranked top 10 offensive line was 2007, okay? So I want you to take it back there. At the time, offensive line coach was Paul Alexander, and Paul Alexander left our team in 2017. Then we went on our little situation of trying to find a new guy. Obviously, we went Frank Pollock for 5 years, and it didn't work out. But again, with the defensive coordinator, this is one of the most important positions we need to get right when it comes to coaching. You got to get a great defensive coordinator that could change your game, change your season, and give you everything. Same thing with offensive line. So we have to figure this out correctly. And again, this is a situation where it comes down to just finding the right guy that blends with you. Because keep in mind, our offensive line now, we're going to have to change it completely. We're going to have to change, number one, Kappa needs to go, right? Cordell Volson needs to go. Or maybe even make Cordell Volson a backup because of how cheap he is. I would say, yeah, you could always do that as well. But we need to rebuild this. So the first guy we have here is Doug Monroe. If you remember Doug Monroe, he was actually the head coach for the Jaguars for a bit of time, Buffalo Bills, and he was the OC of the Rams. Currently, he has been the offensive line coach the last 2 seasons with the Saints. This season, he was not, but 2 seasons before he was. He also was the offensive line coach for Alabama. So, again, another option, in that strew of things. We're most likely going to interview him and a couple other guys, and hopefully they end up working out in the end. But that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be Dan Rouser. Just really awesome name. He is currently the offensive line coach at Tulane University and was not too long ago considered as one of the top offensive line coaches in the NFL. Rouser coached the position for the Saints from 2016 to 2020, and an additional 12 years of college experience. So definitely an option there as well. And then the last guy we have here is James Craig. Craig broke into the league as an assistant offensive line coach for the Rays in 2007. He finally got the head position this past season. Although his line finished at 26, it overcame multiple injuries to finish strong. After allowing 19 sacks for the first 9 games, the line let up just 9 in the last 8 games. See, this is something I really wish, I'll be honest, that I don't really care. I mean, yes, obviously I care for the offensive line coach, how their offensive line finished, right? That's your unit. That's your job to coach that unit. But I wish they also, I think people need to look at also, what did that offensive line coach do when it comes to developing talent? Give me a rookie. Give me a young guy. Give me a 2-year in the league and tell me how he went from, I don't know, maybe the 30th right tackle all the way up to the 15th right tackle. Even if it's not like, oh yeah, that right tackle now is the best in the league, I just want to hear how he developed that guy. Like, how did he make this guy go from, okay, this guy's average or mid as a right tackle, and now this guy's actually a pretty good right tackle, and he actually went on to have a great career. Those are kind of stories I care a lot more about, rather than, again, like, oh, this offensive line sucked this year, but it dealt with injuries. Like, that's cool and all, right? Because obviously that is his thing, and that's something he has to overcome. And adversity is something that the Bengals have dealt with many times. But I rather kind of get the storyline of, hey, this guy, you remember this right tackle? Oh, yeah, I do. He sucked. Oh, no, when this guy took over, he made this guy like a really good option. And like, he went on to have a 10-year career because this offensive line coach did it for him. Like, he developed him. That's what I care about the most. When it comes to offensive line coach, it really comes into how can you develop the talent you're given. Now, obviously, our front office, and to Frank Pollock's credit, I very much dislike him. I don't think he should ever be an offensive line coach in the NFL again. He was horrific. But to his credit, the front office didn't really give him much to work with. And that's going to be another consideration when it comes to offensive line coach. It sucks, and it is what it is, right? You can't, I'd love if we could change it, to be honest. But at the end of the day, the front office is going to be the front office. And as a coach, yeah, you're going to get little to nothing to work with, and you're going to have to try to make gold out of dog shit. I'm sorry, I don't cuss on the channel, but that's really what it is. Like, you're going to have to. So if that's the case, then you need to figure out something. Well, we need someone who can actually figure this out. There's a long list of college coaches who deserve consideration, including Notre Dame's Joe Rudolph, Nick Caldwell of Cincinnati, and Utah's Jim Harding leading the way. So again, yes, once you go down the rabbit hole of college coaches, there's a lot. It usually is a lot of options. So a lot of good options. Just because, again, like, you got all 32 NFL coaches, or like offensive line coaches or OCs or whatever, assistant coaches, and then you also have college 32 teams. So again, there's always options, but across the board, again, this is why this is such a difficult position to fill, and it's going to be one of those things where I don't expect it to get filled anytime soon. Like, this is going to be a whole entire storyline where we look through a lot of different options, just like defensive coordinator. So just take your time, please, Cincinnati. Figure out the correct guy and pick the best choice. Because at the end of the day, this is our future. This is our Bengals. And your decision today or tomorrow, whenever, is going to shape this team moving forward. It's also going to shape protecting Joe Burrow. It's going to shape the idea how long Joe can play for and not have injuries because you got the wrong guy. So just keep that in mind. Hoo-day, boys.